What's up guys, today I explain you, Boruto, how the writers, nerfed Naruto Uzumaki. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel. Now have fun with the video.
Naruto Uzumaki is, quite easily, the most iconic character in the Naruto franchise and a beloved by the fans. Naruto has, over the years, become an icon and an inspiration for people all over the world. It goes without saying that his importance to anime and manga in general is paramount, and, within his own story, Naruto is a hero. Unfortunately, in the sequel of the Naruto series, Boruto, this character has not always received the respect that he deserves. This is down to multiple factors, and unfortunately, he has been reduced to being a shell of his former self, and at the same time, his strength has been stripped from him time and again as well. At the beginning of the Boruto series, fans knew that he was quite powerful. When the Boruto series began with Boruto, Naruto the movie, fans knew that they would get to see exciting action involving the 7th Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, and when the Otsutsuki invaded Earth, he stepped up and gave the fans just that, since he, along with Sasuke, was the only one strong enough to defeat them. Eventually, they did go on to clash, but in this fight, it was clear for the fans to see that Naruto and Sasuke were not even close to utilizing their full strength, for one reason or another. An argument that could be made for that being the case is that Naruto had half of his energy absorbed by Momoshiki before the battle began. And, in the case of Sasuke, it can be said that he transported around 8 people to a completely new dimension using his Rinnegan, which drains quite a lot of chakra. Clearly, both Naruto and Sasuke were tremendously nerfed in this battle, and had it not been the case, perhaps Naruto alone would have been enough to defeat Momoshiki. The major shock came later down the line in the Boruto series. When Naruto and Sasuke fought against Jigen, they were both utterly humiliated, and they were not even able to land a single blow on this individual, despite him being in a restricted state. Clearly, they shouldn't have been beaten, based on all the powers that these two individuals actually possessed. Looking at Naruto and Sasuke's abilities, it was clear that the authors were specifically keeping them from utilizing their true powers and showcasing what they are all about. Naruto Uzumaki has had multiple powers stripped from him in the Boruto series. For one, fans know that Naruto gained both the yin and the yang half of Kurama after the 4th Great Ninja War. This should have been a major power boost to Naruto's strength in itself, but in Boruto, it seemingly didn't help much. More than that, Naruto's 6-Path Sage mode has been reduced to a shell of what it used to be. While this power certainly does exist in Boruto, it is not as strong as before. Naruto seemingly does not have the ability to produce truth-seeking balls. Of course, fans can say that Naruto ended up losing them throughout the 4th Great Ninja War, but these balls are retrievable and indestructible. As such, Sasuke could easily have retrieved them and given Naruto access to these incredible abilities. If that wasn't enough, then fans also need to remember that Naruto seemingly no longer has the ability to utilize Yin-Yang release, using which he restored Kakashi's eye, preserved Might Guy's lifespan, and did the same for Obito as well. For one reason or another, Naruto is a shell of his former self in Boruto. Even his healing powers have been tremendously affected, as was seen when he was stabbed by Sasuke's sword during the battle against Shin. For Naruto to be brought down by a simple stab is truly humiliating. Whereas in the first part of the series, Naruto suffered from a punctured lung, and that was when he didn't even have any control over Kurama beyond one tail. Furthermore, it is clear to see that Naruto's sensory perception has also been limited in the Boruto series. With Naruto awakening the 6-Path Sage mode, it was made clear to the fans that he now had an understanding of all things in the world. Yet, when Naruto was faced by Jigen, who utilized the power of Sukuna Hakona, could not sense him shrinking down at all. Naruto should have been the first person to sense this reduction in size. Whereas he could see Madara's limbo, which existed in an entirely different plane and was invisible completely, here, Naruto could not even sense something in the same plane of a smaller size. Clearly, the author has stripped Naruto of all his powers on purpose and, in many ways, ruined his legacy. The question of whether Naruto being nerfed was a good decision or not is quite easy to answer. Clearly, the author nerfing Naruto was a terrible decision in Boruto. It is clear that the Boruto series is not Naruto's to shine in. Boruto Uzumaki is the protagonist, and he should be the one to always get the biggest spotlight. But, along with Boruto, all the side characters that make up the main cast, such as Kawaki, Sarada, Mitsuki, and even the likes of Naruto and Sasuke should get the spotlight that they deserve as well. Sadly, the approach taken in the Boruto series is completely wrong. In order to elevate Boruto and Kawaki and put them on a pedestal, the author has sacrificed the likes of Naruto and Sasuke. They were stripped of their powers and humiliated in the series. Naruto's lifelong bond with Kurama was destroyed, and Sasuke ended up losing his Rinnegan that he worked so hard to achieve. All this was done so they could be moved to the sidelines, as they were now much weaker, and meanwhile, Boruto and Kawaki would go on to take center stage. The author could easily have figured out other ways to keep Naruto and Sasuke on the sidelines, occupied with some other threats, while Boruto would take up the spotlight. Unfortunately, the approach taken in this series has been wrong from the beginning, and that is one of the reasons why fans have been upset with how the story has panned out. Naruto Uzumaki, along with all the other characters from the old generation, deserve justice, but it is unlikely that they will get any. One silver lining in all this is that the two Blue Vortex series seems to be taking steps to make amends for everything that the first part of Boruto did wrong. Hopefully, things will go better, and in the second part, Naruto and Sasuke will go on to reach levels that they were on previously, and at the same time, maintain the importance that they deserve.